Okay, and you can all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Tonight we're going to be taking a quick tour through some of the emerging trends in educational technology. There's a lot of things that are currently being used that are that there's a groundswell around that teachers and technology coordinators and administrators in education are talking about and starting to utilize and starting to experiment with in regards to technology and education. So we're going to spend the next 20 minutes or so going through a few of these concepts, these trends that we're starting to see a lot of. And this, in just a couple of years that I've taught this class, this list has both grown and reduced in size as these trends, these emerging trends, become they become solidified. They become part of what we're doing in the classroom in a lot of different classrooms. They come off of this list, and as new things come up, they get added to the list. So I'm just going to go through them one at a time and give a brief on them, and you can utilize the chart later as you complete the assignment that's before you. So the first trend that I want to talk about is called the maker movement, and basically the way the chart is set up is that up here at the top of the categories, we have the trend in the left-hand column, an infographic related to that trend in the middle column, and then in the right-hand column, there are some links to some different readings on those elements. So with the maker movement, this is something that is really starting to catch a lot of buzz and a lot of steam. As a matter of fact, I'm actually looking at moving into a position for the next school year that revolves around a career and technical education maker lab. We're just kind of it's kind of just kind of being built right now, and we're trying to kind of figure out what we want it to look like. But the idea behind the maker movement, and I'll go ahead and click on the infographic, is an idea that by putting students in an environment where they can start building out of and engineering and developing ideas about putting together electronic components, using microprocessors and microcomputers to to create robotic elements, to like using leather, to using woodworking tools, to using metal. It's like a return to the shop classes that that I experienced in when I was in junior high. They called it junior high when I was there up in Los Angeles. And junior high actually consisted of 7th, 8th, and 9th grades in LA Unified School District back when I went there. I mean, I remember in junior high as a 7th and 8th grader, I took wood shop, and we were using full-blown band saws and lathes and all kinds of insane tools that you think of now. If schools were using those tools, it would be there'd be a lawsuit waiting to happen. I mean, I was in a 7th grade in a metal shop where we actually casted ashtrays and different elements out of molten aluminum. They had a kiln that heated up aluminum to the point where it was liquid, and we poured it into these casts and made ashtrays and things like that. I mean, it's just the kinds of things that we don't see a whole lot now. We're starting to kind of swing back to the idea of students as builders, right? And so it becomes, it's I don't know if I've referred to it with you guys yet, but the idea of an educational pendulum. A pendulum is a ball or something that swings back and forth and back and forth. And in a lot of ways, education is like a pendulum, in that it is, we swing away from things, and then we swing back toward things, and it's, usually the best place for education is that pendulum hanging right down there in the middle, where we have elements of one side and elements of another side, and they're all and it's all meeting in the middle. But this maker movement is pretty exciting, and if if this is something that inspires you, there is a book called Invent to Learn. This is becoming the Bible of the maker movement in the classroom. The idea, and then this is another term that you're seeing a lot now, is tinkering. You know, allowing students to tinker, to fool around and mess around with building materials, to put things together, to develop ideas about how to put things together. And so, you know, this idea of this maker movement, it's pretty very interesting, and it'll be interesting to see where this takes us in the future. There's also, if you want to, it's either make.org, no, make.com. No. I'm a little far away from the Wi-Fi, but magazine.com. They have a magazine called Make, but it's pretty neat to see how there's different all these different ideas of actually creating, you know, different objects. So, you know, grabbing the husk of an old transistor radio, using a Raspberry Pi, which is a $35 microcomputer, to turn it into an internet radio. So in there somewhere is the guts of being a Raspberry Pi, a little tiny computer inside of that thing, turning this old thing into a new thing. So you'll see a lot of that kind of stuff, and you know, just kind of real interesting, trying to engage students to use mathematics, engineering, and science to actually create things. And it kind of flips the idea of STEM, you know, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If you've never heard that term before, STEM, STEM. It kind of turns it around. Instead of teaching the math out of context, you know, instead of, you know, taking a geometry class, now you're having students have to discover math that helps them create what they want to create. So they're seeking out the math that it takes to actually build and create. And it really, you know, again, this is something that it's difficult to test. You know, it's difficult to say end of the year test. Do you have all this geometry content down? Because, or you know, did you, or you know, are we looking at how a student used, you know, the content to meet their needs? You know, so the idea of this maker movement is kind of counter to the society of testing that we have now in education, but super interesting. So if you are, you know, if this maker movement interests you, this might be something that you want to develop some ideas about. Next is 3D printing, which is pretty closely tied to the maker movement. The idea of you know, printing the 3D printers and how they can be utilized in education. And I'll just click on the infographic here. Okay, the infographic takes through the idea of what 3D printing is. And if you've ever seen a 3D printer action, it's pretty engaging just to watch it build layer upon layer upon layer of this filament into an actual three-dimensional object. But the idea of, you know, and it gives you some different things that in ways that 3D printing can they use the term revolutionize the classroom. You know, biology students studying cross sections of hearts by actually creating them in 3D modeling software and then printing it out. Okay, printing out chemistry molecules in chemistry. An auto shop that you're printing replacement parts. Okay, cooking class students can design intricate molds. Students in geography courses could print out maps showing topography. Graphic design students can create 3D art. History classes printing out historic artifacts. Okay, and so on and so forth. It's like the idea of actually being able to create something real, you know, is something that really drives the idea of 3D printers. Very cool technology. A lot of these things that we're going to be that I'm going to be going through are what's termed now in the educational world as disruptive innovation. That term, disruptive innovation, you can even look up disruptive innovation, and the leader of this disruptive innovation movement is a guy named Clayton Christensen. He wrote, as far as education is concerned, he wrote a book called Disrupting Class, and this book, Disrupting Class, is about disruptive innovation in education, and the idea that things come along that completely disrupt and turn upside down the idea of what education looks like. I mean, right now, the most disruptive innovation right now in our schools is the internet. The idea that students have at their hands at any moment in time in a little 5-inch screen that they can put in their pocket, right? That they have all the answers to every question that a teacher can ask, factual question. That's a disruptive innovation. The fact that we still quiz students on memorized facts when all those facts exist at their fingertips, okay, it calls into question, is this a legitimate way to assess what our kids can do? Because they live in an age where information is instantly accessible. So, how do we now teach students the same way that we've always taught them? That this information is something that needed to be memorized, and it needed to be assessed on a Scantron sheet. Okay, when they don't see the importance in that. Okay, and so this technology, this online internet over-the-air technology, is a disruptive innovation that should be forcing us to change the way that we do school, the way that we educate kids. Okay, and so as we look through this list, I mean, these are just a list of disruptive innovations, these things that are just causing ripples and waves throughout education, and that many of our teachers and teacher training programs, that they're not taken into consideration. We're still training teachers to be the same teachers that taught us, and the same teachers that taught our parents, and in some cases the same teachers that taught our grandparents. So it's kind of neat to look at these things and then start imagining, using your power of forecasting to say, what can this look like in the classroom, and what are the implications of these types of technologies in the classroom. Okay, BYOD stands for Bring Your Own Device. Okay, and so the Bring Your Own Device movement is picking up steam, and a lot of schools are utilizing it now. Instead of collecting student phones and tablets and yelling at kids because they're on their phone in class, now we're talking about having students utilize their devices in the classroom. As more and more things in the classroom are needed technologically, if you're a district who doesn't have an iPad for every kid or a Chromebook for every kid, some sort of device for every kid, well, the majority of kids have their own. Okay, and so here's an infographic on Bring Your Own Device. Majority of students and adults own the devices necessary for BYOD. 85% of high school students have smartphones, laptops, tablets. I mean, those are all out there, and so utilizing different pieces of technology or different software programs or different applications, to have students access them through their own devices. Now you're using those things for good. I mean, of course there's pros and cons, right? If you have every kid with their smartphone out, we all know they're gonna, we're gonna be interrupting their Facebook sessions with class, right? I mean, that's so it's not all this fantastic and amazing world. A lot of it is engaging kids with with whatever's going on in the classroom to keep them off of those, to keep them off of Instagram, to keep them off of Snapchat, right? But there's a lot of different, you can see here that a lot of, there's colleges and governmental agencies, universities, right, that have gone BYOD and are utilizing the concept of students using their own devices. Okay, and this infographic even lays out the pros and the cons. Okay, Brett did his case study on online textbooks, and a lot of the pros and the cons for those online textbooks are a whole lot like the pros and the cons for BYOD, right? It's you look at all the different ways that it can work amazingly in the classroom, and then you look at all the ways that it can go wrong. But fact of the matter is that these kids coming to school with these phones is a disruptive innovation in the classroom. Sometimes for good, a lot of times for bad. How can we, as teachers, leverage it in our classrooms to make it more for good than for bad? All right, MOOCs, M-O-O-C, stands for Massively Online. I'm sorry. We get to the massively open online courses. Okay, and so if you've seen in iTunes U or at UC Berkeley or MIT or Harvard, right, that we're seeing now a lot of colleges and universities offering online courses for free. Okay, and these are some of the providers. If you've seen Coursera, Coursera has lists of courses being offered from all kinds of major universities, right? And the majority of them are just free. So we're looking at these high-level college courses being taught by the best professors and the best minds in the country, and you can take these classes for free on your own time. And at this point in the game, you're not really looking at being able to get an advanced degree by taking them. But what kind of a disruptive innovation is this? The ability to get a top-flight education for free. And is it now necessary to pay thousands of dollars for a college education when you can get that for nothing? The only thing stopping us right now is the fact that I can take 15 courses from Harvard and 12 courses from MIT and 8 courses from Stanford and turn myself into an engineering genius. But if I don't have the degree that says that I'm an engineering genius, or even that I graduate, I can even be an engineering dope with a degree, right? Without that degree, what does that mean? But the idea here is that we're looking at, and this is the big thing about these MOOCs, is that with student engagement, there's a 7% completion rate. This is from a couple years ago, but you don't see a whole lot of people completing these courses. Okay, but the massively open online courses is yet another disruptive innovation in education. Gamification. Okay, gamification is a real hot term right now in education, and it's basically utilizing the elements of gameplay in the classroom. So I mean, the idea being that you basically structure your class in a way that brings in elements of gameplay, that students can earn points, that they can level up, that they can earn achievements, that that there's, in this case, collaboration, that there's bonuses and discoveries and play, and so you're basically bringing in different elements of what makes games interesting to play, and you build that into your curriculum. Pretty interesting. This is something that I haven't done a lot of investigation into, and that I've never really utilized in a classroom. But as I go into this new position that hopefully is going to work out for me, this is something that I can really see myself, utilizing in the classroom. Goes out and it goes outside of the idea of bringing actual games into the classroom, and starts kind of focusing on how you can make your classroom like the environment of a game. The last few, this one is open educational resources. Open educational resources is simply a term that belies an understanding that there are tons of openly licensed resources out there. The internet is full of them. Okay, there are tons of free online textbooks, free online courseware, free worksheets, free teaching guides, tons of video. Okay, and so it's all out there, and how our educators starting to utilize these elements. Okay, I mean, gone are the days where you have to just kind of sit there and teach from the textbook that you've been given, and not have a bunch of different resources out there that you can utilize as a teacher to help go beyond the book, or to help dive deeper into the book. Okay, so the idea of there being so much out there now, I mean, there's too much out there. You could never process it all, and so you're starting to see different sites that you can use to consolidate your search. Okay, and this infographic talks about one called Creative Commons. And if you haven't heard of Creative Commons is basically they basically developed this open internet resource protection for people who create stuff. So basically, anything that you create on the internet has you can attach a Creative Commons license to it, so that you can protect your intellectual property, your artistic property, right? But you can also share it. So Creative Commons searches all these different places: SoundCloud for music, YouTube for video, Photopedia and Flickr for images, Jamendo for music. Okay, so you can find all kinds of different resources out there to bring into your classroom. Blended learning. Okay, blended learning is definitely an ethic that you're seeing more and more and more. There's online learning, and then there's blended learning, and blended learning is really an amalgamation of classroom learning and online learning. Okay, and it's been kind of an interesting path to travel, because I've been involved in online and blended learning both at the high school level and then here at the college level for a few years now, and to see the path that it's taken. A truly online class is a challenging thing to create, and a challenging thing to keep engaging. And I know that for a fact, that there's a lot of distractions in an online class. And really, when I go about a class like this, like the one that we're involved in now, I really find that it's necessary to give you the majority of the time to create, to develop. And I'm lucky that I've been able to teach these classes online and have these classes be built in a way that has you guys involving yourself in creating products that you publish on the web. The other classes, 512 and 514, they're the same. I mean, this one's a little more advanced in that it's tackling some newer technologies, but the idea that we have these meetings, 1 to 2 hours, and then I push you off to develop your own projects. Okay, that's my preference as far as an online class is concerned. But as far as blended learning is concerned, and this this scale kind of gives you an example of what blended learning is. That it's partly face-to-face and partly online. And the reason that I like the scale analogy here is that sometimes that scale can be weighted further down here, like there's more online than face-to-face, and sometimes it can be more face-to-face than online. And that, a lot of times, and the way that I've used blended learning with some of my high school students is that they are physically every day in my brick and mortar facility face-to-face with me, but all of their coursework is facilitated online. So they're knee-deep in Google Google Docs and Google Presentation and Prezi and all their stuff is delivered via a learning management system, and they're in Edmodo, and and so everything that they do is facilitated online, even though we're face-to-face. And so that idea of a paperless classroom, or trying to create a paperless classroom, is a form of blended learning. And so yeah, this takes you through a few different blended learning models. Okay, this infographic, and takes you through 6 different programs. One of which is in my hometown and a couple of your hometowns, San Diego, pretty famous high-tech high school, and so they have a blended program there. But there's a few others in here. And so, the idea of, and up at the top of this infographic, it refers to blended learning as a disruptive innovation, and highlights the book by Clayton Christensen called Disrupting Class, which is if you find yourself after this class is over with a little dead time during your summer and you want to pick up a book and start reading it, this is another one, Disrupting Class. That's just a fascinating read. And it's the kind of thing that makes you, as a teacher or a future teacher, by reading that, you're like, wow. And then there's like, look at these different ways that we can utilize these different technologies to change the way that class is delivered. Pretty fascinating read. And then the last one on the chart here is synchronous versus asynchronous learning, something that you guys have had experience with over this course. So a couple of your classes have been delivered asynchronous, and the other majority of them have been delivered synchronously. Okay, asynchronous learning is again, like last week, wasn't my intention originally to have it be asynchronous, but it just turned out that way, where you can access the content at any time. You don't have to be in the same place at the same time, or in this case, the same digital space at the same time, like we are right now. That would be synchronous online learning. Okay, paced at particular intervals that must be attended according to a specific schedule. That's synchronous. And then asynchronous is a class that you can, again, you can interact with the material at any time. Usually within a constrained amount of time. You have 1 week to complete this, but you don't have to all be at the same at a computer screen at the same time interacting. Okay, and this is kind of big right now in the state of California, this asynchronous versus synchronous movement, in that there's a bill passed, and I don't remember the exact number of the bill, but it basically states that the government, the California state government, will provide funds to districts for synchronous online learning, meaning that they'll provide money for online courses for schools to facilitate online courses, but it has to be synchronous. You have to have teachers and students at their computers at the same time doing class like they would do it face-to-face, except doing it on, over, Adobe or over Google Hangout. And what we're really looking for is for them to open up that legislation to include asynchronous learning, so that you can have students accessing content at any time, so that a student can jump in the middle of a traditional semester and they can start taking from the beginning a geometry class or a U.S. history class. Okay, because synchronous learning, basically all that does is change, where the students and the teacher are sitting while that class is delivered. So I might have a class of 30 kids and we start all at the same time and we go through the class together as if we were in the same building, but we're not. We're online. Okay, so that's the collection of educational trends that that we're looking at. I would say that if I were to teach this class again in a couple of months, that synchronous and asynchronous and maybe even blended learning might fall off of this chart, and there will probably be a couple of different things that I might add. This time around, I added maker movement and 3D printing, because those are, you're starting to see those becoming more and more prevalent in education. And the one thing that you're really starting to see a lot of, especially in lower grades, which kind of ties into gamification, is the game Minecraft. I don't know how familiar any of you are with Minecraft. If you have a boy, most likely, who is in like the 3rd to 6th grade, I'm sure you've heard of Minecraft. But when the last few EdTech conferences I've been to, the sessions on Minecraft EDU have been maxed out, like packed with people. So this is something that you're starting to see, the idea of Minecraft in the classroom and using Minecraft to have kids create and to develop and to, it's something that right now is gaining a lot of steam. And this is something that I haven't used. I did have a few 8th graders in my independent study class last summer, and I had them create an entire Old West town as part of a U.S. history project in Minecraft, but that wasn't really utilizing Minecraft to the degree that people are using, that teachers are using Minecraft in the classroom now. So that's something that I would probably definitely add for next time. That it's really amazing to see how it's being utilized in the classroom. And again, yet another disruptive innovation. So your blog assignment this week is on new tech, and basically what I want you to do is write a post for your blog discussing your views on 2 of these technology trends. And if there's one that's not on this list that you know of or that you find during some research, you can feel free to replace one of these with something that you find. If you find something that's not on this list and you're either invested in it personally, then feel free. You don't even need to ask. Just put it in there. You also have a community discussion this week on the Infinite Thinking Machine, which is a video blog, and there's a link to their YouTube channel on the page. And basically, the Infinite Thinking Machine is they're short videos that that bring forth some of the ideas, some of the things that we're talking about. It's been around since 2006, but they took a break. So really, looking at it from 2012 on is where I want you to focus. But try and find one of these videos that speaks to you in some way, shape, or form, and then I want you to share that video with the community and just include a short response to what you watched. So the most recent one, you can kind of see the format.
Rock and roll is a teaching tool? Oh yeah, and this one goes to 11. This episode of the Infinite Thinking Machine is brought to you by the K-12 High Speed Network. I'm Carol Ann McGuire, ITM correspondent here on a field trip at Huntington Beach High School at Retro Fest.
Okay, so rock and roll is a teaching tool. I'm not going to watch the rest of it in case one of you wants to pick it up and run with it. But yeah, there's just a lot of different bringing a lot of different elements into the classroom and how those kind of interact with students and how you as a teacher can utilize them and just a kind of a neat idea pool to draw from. So just find one of those Infinite Thinking Machine videos, watch it, discuss, share it, and discuss kind of what your views are on it in a short paragraph. Okay, and that's all the assignments I have for you this week, because I want you to continue developing those case studies. There are a couple of things, though, that I want to make sure. These are more logistical issues. One of them is Taskstream, and just from a quick yeah, I heard it was raining, and we leave San Diego and it's raining. Yeah, I heard it was raining there too. Charlene, are you talking about Minecraft?
Yes, I was.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I mean, I can imagine that a student with 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 like an Asperger's or a higher functioning
Yes.
on the spectrum can just kind of fall into that world, because it is. I mean, it's like a whole world. But oh, now I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, as far as Taskstream is concerned, is there any one of you that does not have a Taskstream account with APU? Okay, so I'm going to take that to mean that you all do. So this first PDF right here, you don't have to worry about. This is basically just for creating a Taskstream account. This is the self-enrollment instructions. And so if you are yet to enroll yourself into the digital teaching and learning program, okay, this is the access code. So let me jump in real quick to Taskstream. And it looks like they had a product upgrade, so let's hope it didn't upgrade so much that we can't recognize it. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go in as an author, which is what you'd be seeing. And so basically, if you don't see this, if you don't see DRF, MA, Digital Teaching and Learning, you want to make sure that you come down here to this button, this Enter Code button. And that right here under Enter Program Code, that you enter this program, MADTL1. And once you enter that code and select okay, I figured it would do that. You're already enrolled in this program. It'll bring that program up, and then you just select it, and that'll put you in the program. And when you're using Taskstream, again, this is basically Taskstream is basically for the university. It's not just APU that uses Taskstream. It's tons of colleges and universities. They use this for their accreditation, right? They have to show that students are moving their way through the programs and that they are completing the products of the class, in the right way. And so, you have a signature assignment for every course you take. So, and there'll also be some other tasks to do when you enter and when you exit. So, Taskstream is just it's a requirement of the overall program. As far as the navigation is concerned, it's easy to lose your way in Taskstream. It's easy to get lost. And so you always know that this home button up here takes you back to the opening page. Okay, so as far as Taskstream is concerned, the only thing that you're going to need to do for Taskstream in EDUC 515 is click on the link to the program. And then over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see the EDUC 515 signature assignment. You're going to click on that. I already submitted work here. I don't think. Oh, I know what I can do. Give me a sec. I'll just go to a class that I haven't done before. Okay, so what you're going to do, let's just pretend this is 515, to submit your signature assignment, which in this case is your blog site. So everything that you've been creating throughout this class over the past 6 weeks or 5 weeks you've put into that blog site, and your signature assignment just is that site. Okay, their main requirement for 515, the signature assignment, is a digital citizenship blog. So your blog page, you know, the front page of your site where you have all your different blog entries, that's your kind of required signature assignment. But I basically have you build that thing out so that everything that you're creating, you're bringing into that site, and you're building this kind of comprehensive and cohesive site, which I think is good on a lot of levels. So your basic idea here, and I'm sure that most of you have done it already, but I'm going to go through it anyway, is that you have some options as far as how you submit different things into Taskstream, and it lives all down here at the bottom. Text and image, slideshows, standards, attachments, videos, and links. Since all you're submitting is your blog site, you can forget all of these and go right to the one on the end and click on links. Okay.
Do we just put our case study in our blogs?
Yeah, just create a page called case study, and that'll be the last page in that line of pages that you have. And then just embed, in your case, the Prezi that you created onto that page.
Cool.
Okay, so as far as naming your link, you're just going to call it Digital Citizenship Blog, and then you're going to go ahead and just paste your website URL. So whatever mine is I'm just going to pretend that mine is roundsblog515.weebly.com. Okay, so you're going to give it the name of Digital Citizenship Blog, because that's technically your signature assignment, and then you're going to put in your website URL, and then you're just going to click Add Link. Okay, and then that link will appear here. Okay, once you're finished with that, you're going to go to Save and Return, and it's going to ask you if you're ready to submit your work. And really, it's only going to submit it to me. So, and you remember, since it's a web link, any changes you make to your site will stay on that site, and you don't have to update the link because the link is a live link. Okay, so if I'm ready to submit it, boom, I click that Submit Work button, and that's how you submit your signature assignment in Taskstream to me. Okay, I will not be going into Taskstream. If you do it beforehand, if you do it before the end date, before the 28th of July, I mean, if you do it before the 20th of July, and you want me to go ahead and just and check it in Taskstream, that's fine. I'll do that. But I don't plan specifically on going through and improving all of your work in Taskstream until like the 28th or the 29th. Okay, so it's pretty simple process. I'm sure you guys have done it before, but that's all you need to do to submit your signature assignment in Taskstream. And just a word about the signature assignment evaluation. This is from the program coordinator. We use a 4-point rubric in Taskstream, and in that on that 4-point rubric, a 3 is defined as on target, and a 4, they've told us, is for student work that is over the top perfect. It has gone beyond the target in a good way, right? It's you split the arrow, Robin Hood style. So, and I believe that in 515 you're scored on 3 different areas. So it's common that if one area is really good, I'll give it a 4, and then the other areas are right where they need to be, they'll get a 3, and so you wind up with a 3.33. It's not. It doesn't. Those numbers don't equate to A, B, or C. Okay, so that's just a word on when you see the score in Taskstream. Understand that if you get a 3, that you're just on point, and a 3 most likely in the class is an A. If that scoring it matters to you. Okay. Last but not least for tonight is the course evaluation. At the end of every course, you go through that course evaluation, and so the link for this course evaluation is down here at the bottom of the page. Okay.
I have a question, Mark.
Yes.
Are you going to be giving us any assignments on the next class?
On week 9?
Yeah.
There will just be a small one. But yeah, nothing outside the box.
Okay.
Do you have plans that week that would monkey your plans up?
Yeah, I'm actually leaving to Phoenix again on Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Okay.
So I'll still come to class, but I won't.
A week from tomorrow you're leaving?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's something that we'll see. I'm not sure. I've kind of restructured the class a little bit. I've never taught it during the summer before, so I've had to kind of move some things around, and so it may turn out that we don't all. As soon as I'll figure it out in the next couple of days, and I'll send out a group email and let you all know what we're looking at next week. All right. So any questions about the case study? Any questions about anything we talked about tonight? All right. Well, we have 1 week left, and you guys have been great. I mean, I've been looking through your work, and for some of you, if you didn't earn full credit on an assignment, if you look in Edmodo, there will be some. I left a comment, and basically, anything that is less than 100%, I kind of gave some short directions on what you need to do to correct that. And as soon as you do, if you go and you look at your grades and there's anything that's less than full credit, then make sure that you complete whatever needs to be completed, and then let me know so I can regrade it. Okay, because again, my job isn't to give you something from a A to an F. It's to make sure that you succeed in all the assignments. So yeah, take a look in Edmodo and look at those comments. And if you have any questions about anything, just send me an email. I'll get it and get back to you hopefully within 24 hours. I'm not carrying my phone around with me that much because I've kind of wanted to leave that behind a little bit while I'm on vacation, but I will definitely check throughout the day at different intervals check my email.
Professor?
Yes.
I believe when I got into, I don't think I ever accessed you guys through Edmodo. I think because I wasn't there at the beginning. Did you say, we might have had a conversation, maybe you did see me in there. I do have the group code and all that.
I did see you in there.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
I
good.
saw you in there, Charlene. You're in there, and I just put the grades of your things in there, so
Okay.
you can go ahead and check those out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, just if you finish your case study, a couple of students already finished their case study and sent me a link in an email, wanted me to check through them and make sure that they were ready to rock and roll. If at any point you finish, or if at any point you're in the process and you want me to look at it and give you some direction, please do. Okay, so that I can partner with you on getting that case study finished. All right. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and cut you guys loose. Came in at just under an hour. Not bad for a summer Monday. All right. Well, go ahead and be expecting an email for me in the next few days as far as some direction on what we're looking at next Monday. Okay. And otherwise, I will see you all next Monday night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Have fun.